Okay, for my next project, I want to do that technique that you guys might have seen on everybody's doing it. Kind of aging a pot a little bit with some kind of a joint compound or spackle, something like that. And also kind of giving it a little kind of a old world kind of feel. I had these two very modern plastic pots. One was white, I painted this one. So they're both black because I'm not going for like a white stone, but more like a black. I don't want these pots to really call attention to themselves, when I put it that way. I wanted to have some texture and see if I can make them look a little bit more interesting, but I'm not necessarily into, you know, maybe say, hey, look at me, look at me. So what I'm gonna do, again, just based on stuff that I've seen, I'm gonna mix some fixed or joint compound, and I'm gonna mix in some black paint. And depending how it goes, I might mix some browns or maybe a little bit of white. And then also, I like this idea, which I've seen, where people just put spices on it, kind of rubbing the spices when everything's wet, and it really colors the spackle. So I got here a good collection: cinnamon, cayenne pepper, paprika, and turmeric, which are very colorful kind of spices. So that's kind of the drillio. So let me first get the mix on going, and then we'll smother it all on and see how it goes. Never done this before. Okay, here goes nothing. So I got some fixole, some water, and then I'm just make like a base here. And I'm not sure exactly how much to use, but I mean, I guess we can figure it out as we go along. Okay, I think that's a good consistency, huh? It's kind of like a cake batter, I guess, or brownie batter. That's kind of what I'm thinking we probably need. Okay, so I'm gonna start putting some color in it. Let's see what happens. My favorite. Before and after a little bit. Okay, I got all the fixel on them, and tomorrow I'll play with some paint. Maybe try to paint them black again, throw in some of the spices. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully this stuff will stay on it. That's my concern, that it'll flake off, but I try to put it thick, so we'll see. Okay, so I left my pots dry overnight, and you know, I think hopefully it'll stay. This is not something that you probably should keep outside, because again, this is a very flexible pot, which is not recommended when doing this kind of thing, because if you flex it in any way, things will basically flake off. So I mean, of course, I know it's not gonna be perfect. I still have to paint it, and that's gonna be the kind of the fun thing. But I had a thought, you know, one of the things that sort of doesn't help this pot is that it is, with being so modern, I'm trying to make it look aged. It's a little bit weird, like an oxymoron kind of thing. So I had this crazy idea. I had bought some of this flexible foam to use on my tabletop, which again, I did it for Halloween, so it's in there. I thought, why if we do that all around? And again, I'll add more of the fixole and heavy mud kind of thing all over. I think not only it would look a little bit more real, you know, it will give it some detail. I have no idea how this foamy thing is gonna take to all this stuff, but I think if I give it like a coat of at least chalk paint, that should help. But anyway, so that's my crazy idea. Again, this is just an experiment. We'll see if it works. This comes with its own adhesive strip. For now, I'm gonna go with that, and let's see what happens. And I had a lot left over, so I had to use it. I want to do something with it, so let's give it a try. Okay, and I had enough for both pots, so I'm pretty happy. So now, before I get to the fun part of painting them, and making them look really nice and aged. The first thing is I need to do some more of the fixal mix so that I can put it all over this and kind of soften that in and all that. Make it look, actually, like I said, let me give it a coat of chocolate to make sure things will stick to it. Okay, so I painted with the chalk paint my foam thing. So now I want to put some of the, the fixal or John compound to kind of make it blend in with everything else, and also, has all the little cracks or all the little spaces that I mentioned about. And then we can get to the fun part, which is paint. Okay, let's make some more. Okay, I let it dry, since yesterday, and I think I'm gonna give it a little bit of what do you call that? Sanding before I paint it. I think it could use it. Okay, well, I sanded, and I was afraid not a whole lot stuck to this rubbery kind of section here. A lot of it came off, especially kind of the rim. For some reason, I had made the second batch that I made of the fixal. I think I didn't put the chalk paint in it, and I don't know if it made a difference. But anyway, so a lot of stuff flaked off. You can see a whole section here came off. But you know what? I'm just, it's okay. It's still gonna have texture. It's still gonna have something, which is gonna be better than what I was before. So I'm gonna proceed on. And next thing, like I said, I mostly want them to be on the black side. See, it still has a lot of texture. It's just kind of, see how this whole chunk came off. So a lot of the stuff that I put right there for this, but at least it's smooth now, so it doesn't look so abrupt, like a weird kind of texture. So I'm just gonna go with this. But see, over here, I had a feeling that nothing sticks to this rubbery thing. Actually, the chalk paint did. That was about it. But that's okay. I think once I paint it, I'm gonna wipe them, and then I'm gonna paint in black. And then tomorrow, once they're fully dry, I'm gonna come back and do some more, painting and texturing with with different spices and maybe some other colors. So let me wipe them first. Okay, I'm gonna paint it now with the black all over. Okay, it's the day after, and it's time to see if I can do some painting on this to finish it up. And again, sad to report that it's not been a great project. Even after I painted all black, things continue to chip, and as much as I try to sand it so anything that was loose would come off, even with the paint, it's sort of not attaching. So I'm learning from this project. I don't know if it was that it was fixal instead of maybe using something else. Maybe baking soda would have worked better, or something else. But I thought the fixal would be stronger, but he really had a harder time, I think, attaching to this material. I probably should have sanded the plastic part first. And also I noticed that one came out better than the other, I think. And I think it's because, or at least this one is worse. My first batch, which was probably this one, I mixed the chalk paint with the fixal already mixed in. And I think that one did better. But the second one, see how it just comes off? The second one, when I was trying to repair this part that basically came off completely, it was just fixal by itself. So I think moral of the story, it's more about the chalk paint doing a good job for you than really the texture. So pay more attention to having a good amount of chalk paint, because as we know, that will stick to anything. And like I said, it even stick to this this foamy part, which is usually fixal didn't stick to it at all. After I spent all that time putting it on, I mean, they just had little pieces here and there, but it's kind of weird how it continues to chip. So I keep it rubbing it, make sure all the loose stuff comes out. But I'm gonna, you know, sponge it up and paint it, make it look a little older. Again, this probably works better in a real pot as opposed to plastic pots. I think plastic pots have too much flexibility and it doesn't allow for that. But like I said, at this point, I'm just going with it and seeing what happens. Okay, well there you have it. I try to be as similar as possible, but they're not exactly the same, but they look like they belong together, right? Sure look that they've been through hell and back, which because they have. So after they're dry, I'll clear coat them and then I'll plant them and I'll let you know if they fall apart any further. Okay? Okay, to give you the report on what happened. I mean, again, they're sort of holding up, but there's a few little areas where it looks like it wants to flake out. But for the most part, they're holding up okay. You know, I think as long as I don't... One thing that did come apart was my gluing of this. I have to re-glue it. It doesn't look pretty either. I could probably put some caulk in it again, but I don't want to mess with it anymore. But anyway, so there's the final result of my pots, and the irony is after as much as I work with them, I ended up not using it for the party because I ended up not needing them. I only use a palm tree, so there you go. Okay, and now for the next project, on to something very different, lighting, which is my favorite. And I had an idea. Oh, so funny. Anyways, I've had these cages forever, and I used them before in the room in a different way. And I've painted them, and I used to have them hanging on my tree, close to where the the canopy is gonna be for the Moroccan party. And I had to, I could clean them out and I respray paint it because they get dirty being outside. I used to have like candles, those kind of remote candles, but we found these light bulbs a while back in the clearance section at Walmart for $10, and we thought, oh, we should do something with those. But so my thinking is to make this into actual lamps with these. So I went ahead and ordered, the little cord kit thing. I think there's 3 in here. Yeah. So I hope it's not too tricky of a project. This one will be easier. This one is going to be a little tricky because I forget why, but I ended up cutting the top off for some reason. I don't remember why now, but it was a while back. So let's start with a somewhat easy one. I mean, it obviously fits, so that will be fun. I hope it's not too bright, because that would be kind of crazy. So, and I think I don't want to make a hole in this. I'll probably just figure out how to zip tie, because this is the thing. Oh boy, doesn't fit. I have to force it to fit. Oh boy, I broke it. But that's okay. I think it was needed. So, the dealio is that we want it to be sort of coming from the center. Just a matter of figuring out how and where I need to secure it so it sort of stays in place. I like it a little suspended, not so much sitting down. So I think what I'm going to try to see if I can maybe zip tie it to kind of that little crown over there, and if you can see it. But I'm going to try zip tying it there somewhere if I can. Let me get some zip ties. Now I'm gonna zip tie this to this, just to keep it a little bit more managed, because then the cord will have to gonna be hitting the tree where it's gonna hang. Okay, and here's the first one. That's kind of interesting. We'll see how it looks on the tree. Okay, I think maybe the easiest thing would be just to put it together. I mean, to loop these guys down. So I just put it across. This used to be up there, of course, but gluing that there is not gonna work. Okay, so I might try this. I don't know if it will work, but the light kits came with this little hooks, right? This is real for guiding the cord on the ceiling and things like that. But I'm thinking if I could, because this one has nothing. If I could glue that there and it would be secure enough, I could just be sent. My issue is being centered here, right? So I would be able to be centered. So I'm gonna try doing that with some E6000. Hopefully that would hold it. Oh wait, I have another idea. This might be better. Yeah, I have this instead of gluing this little thing. I think it would be much better to glue this. This has more area to cover. This will definitely glue much better. So let's try that. Let's do that. E6000 and leave it overnight and see what happens. Okay, well now the hook has dried. I think it's gonna hold well. Let's hope for that. So we can continue our little installation here. And that should work like that. And the cord will come around. And I'm gonna zip tie it here. Yeah, so that should work. Oh, it did not hold. Damn. Okay, so the E6000 did not work. Disappointment. I think partly it's because it's a tough surface. I probably needed to put a ton more. So I'm changing adhesives. I'm going to use my landscape outdoor construction adhesive, which is good for outdoors. So hopefully I can squeeze this out. It's a little old, and hopefully this will work. Okay, now let's see. I think this one did work. Yeah, it looks like it's. I'm afraid of touching it, but I think it's not gonna go anywhere. So now we'll be able to put the light bulb in and finish threading this up here, so that I think I'll just use a zip tie, and then I gotta get the bottom part. Okay, so I put a zip tie here and a zip tie at the hook. I think that should be enough. I don't want to overdo it. Okay, so that glue didn't work either, so I am going to have to work on another plan. So I think I'm going to drill 2 holes and guide a wire through. That should work. Okay. Plan C, here we go. Okay, I think this will work. I'm putting a tough wire through. And I'm gonna poke it, and then that way I can, as you can see, thread that. That's the idea. I think I got it this time. I wish I had done this from the day one, because I would have saved myself. This doesn't look pretty, but again, I'll be up there. Nobody can see this part. But the important thing is that I want the light bulb to be nicely centered. Okay, now the last thing is I'm gonna take this down to secure the top to the bottom, because as you remember I cut this out for some reason. Myself. These are also pretty strong, but I think it works out. Okay, I already hung that one and that one. That one's just gonna be a battery candle. And I'm gonna hang it with the shower curtain thing, because you know this is pretty flexible. Okay, and now for the kind of most fun project of all. I'm gonna do my Magic Carpet Ride photo area, I'm gonna call it. So the magic carpet will go here. I'll make that second. But first, I need to make a backdrop. And I want to use the same art that I've been using for everything. If you've seen my previous video, you would have seen in my secret English garden tea. I did it for Halloween. You know, any excuse I can, I use it for something. And I want to also make the doors, kind of using the same frame of the doors that I had made previously when I did my English garden tea. So anyway, at first I was going to make it out of wood, but it's so expensive. So I thought, you know what? I'm just going to use cardboard. And it just so happens that I have a lot of cardboard that's pretty large. Mostly that was my concern, making out of cardboard. Some of it's from the panels that I bought for my yard recently, and the other stuff from previous parties. Those are the columns that I made for both the Oscars and then the English Tea Party. That was the roof of my pagoda for my Oscars party, and that was the panel that I got for something. Anyway, I got a lot of cardboard, so I think I can make it happen, and I'll post a picture here of kind of what the thought is I want to do. So first of all, I want to create some kind of a frame, kind of to attach the, I'm going to make it as if it was a wood flat, but it's actually like they do in theater, but it's actually going to be cardboard. And then I have other ideas of how to dress it up. Let me make the frame first. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. This is the arch, right? And I'm going to make the frame basically like this wide, where I can put the cardboard on top, and I'll cut out an opening for the arch. So I figure out my dimensions, and I'm trying to use scrap wood that I already had. So I already cut my two short ones and my two long ones, and now I just have to screw them together like a square. Okay, a frame. Okay, so I've laid down the frame for my arch, and I'm gonna start stapling the cardboard. I did put the angle supports on each of the four corners, and I don't have enough wood to really give it any more internal structure, but again, it doesn't have to go very much because the arch is going to be in the middle. We'll see how it goes. If I absolutely have to, I can always add support later. But for now, I'm just going to staple the cardboard. And, duct tape, staple, and again, later, we're going to put some fixole over the whole thing. And that will fix it all. Okay, continuing here with the building of my Moroccan arch. This is the back side. I'm gonna try to come up with a way to stand it so it can stand on its own. I'm not sure if this is gonna work, but this is my thought so far. I've got this piece of wood like this, and this is gonna stick out like that. And I'm hoping that's enough support. If not, I'll have to come up with another idea. I'm also gonna put another one coming from that one to this one. Okay, well, let's see if this support is going to be sufficient. I'm a little worried, but let's see. Okay, good news. I was able to figure out how to make it stand up. My hubby helped me figure out that basically I just put the last 2x4 that I had back there. I will help it. And also, the palm trees, I have those pots that again I had used for the English Tea Garden Party. I think they will look really pretty in the front. It's an added precaution that it doesn't fall. And I can put the palm trees on it. That will be kind of nice. The next step is to put some fixole to start giving this some kind of texture and all that. So let's get to that. Okay, first step is to mix up some fixole. I'm gonna give it one coat to at least, the carpet part. Got a little fixole in my eye, so protective glasses. Okay, I've had kind of a brownie batter. I didn't make a lot, but it's hard to mix. And I got this little floater I'm gonna apply it with. Okay, I finished putting the fixture yesterday, and you can see I left a very texture kind of look to it, which is fine. It seems like it's gonna stay. It feels pretty nice and hard. I'm a little worried because when I have to move this, I hope it's okay. But let's hope for the best. I'm gonna put a coat of latex paint. I'm gonna see what I have. Hopefully I have some white base paint, and that will also help kind of hold it all in place. And I also want to do, I have a little bit left over of this trim I used before. It's not enough to do the whole thing, and I wish, but I think it'd be nice to put some of it around the corner. I'll probably do like a little cut at the end so it feathers out. It looks a little bit more intentional, but because I only have so much, I wish I could do it from here, but I don't have enough. I sort of tested it out. I'm gonna try to put this on, and my idea is to kind of cut it at an angle. See, this is sort of gonna end a little abruptly otherwise. So maybe I should do one at a time. So at least when it ends, it will make more sense. Okay, let's try to put it on. I found the center of my arch, and I also found the center of this, which is right there. So I just have to match those two. And I should put it from the center out. So that means I'm gonna have to take this off for the center. I'm gonna cut this in half so that start peeling from the center out. Okay, I'll spare you the details because I was trying to put some protective, paper underneath. The whole thing fell over and had a crack in there, so I had to patch it up, but now it's fixed. So now it's time to paint. Okay, I finished painting it. I had a little quart of flat white paint, which I couldn't remember what it was for, why I had it. But anyway, so I fixed that problem that I had there, as I told you, and wait for it to fully dry, and then I'll re-glue my little trim there. And then, but yeah, I'm pretty happy. It does look like a very old, ancient wall, doesn't it? Although I don't think the walls in Morocco are quite that texture, but we're gonna pretend that they're like that. And so the next thing is I might put some antiquing, or I might just go straight to with stenciling, because the antiquing might be too much. Yeah, I think I'll just go stenciling, and then maybe after that, if I want antiquing, I can always do the antiquing on top, and it'll look like a painted design that kind of faded out or something. Okay. So pretty happy. So while this dries, I'm gonna move on to the doors. Okay, so while the arch dries over there, I need to start working on my doors. If you saw my English tea garden, secret garden tea party, you might have seen me create doors with a trellis in the middle. So I've had them in my garage this whole time, and I used them for Halloween, and did I use them for something? I think Halloween I used them for Halloween games. So, unfortunately, I ran over them in my garage, and one of them is like a little screwed up. So I'm gonna have to try to fix this one, and then I'm gonna do the top. Fortunately, you're not gonna see the frame. You're only gonna see the actual door, which I'll explain later. But for now, I'm gonna go ahead and take the hinges off so I can work with it, because I might have to do a few things. But anyway, that's where I'm. Okay, repair. This is the original. It had some extra scraps. One already painted. So a repair. Now the next thing is gonna be to figure out if I have enough cardboard, because the doors are gonna be made out of cardboard. Let me see what I have left. Okay, it's time to make the doors, and I'm gonna use the same thing that I cut out from the middle. You saw me cutting the cardboard. this was the part that was left over, so this is going to be part of it, and I'm going to join it with this other straight part here, and then out of that I'll get one big double door and then cut it in half. Again, going back to dimensions also of my frame, but for now I'm just going to join these two. And we have two doors. I'm going to staple it from the front to the back because that's all going to get covered up with paper, so a little staple gun should do it. Okay, I'm going to start my stenciling project in the Moroccan arch, right? So I happen to have an old stencil that I've used before, and it came with like a smaller section, like meant for when you're doing an edge or something. And I think that will work fine. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to do, it's a large scale stencil, but that part is only like really narrow. And then for the doors, I'm going to use the full scale stencil. I'll be a different color. So again, trying to use what I have, save money, right? On a budget. I just looked through our paint and found something that that I just happen to have. And this is like a gray. So we have the arch is already painted white. Then the stenciling will be gray. I'm going to try to keep it super light. And then later, if I feel like it needs a little aging or something, I might go over with another color and sponge around and make it look kind of faded. But for now, I'm gonna go with this gray and try to keep it as light as possible. So let's give it a try. Okay, this one is just very lightly gray, which I think it's a good thing. Because again, it's rather better to start subtle and then work my way back, especially because I don't have more of the white paint left to repaint the arch. Oh, so I taped my stencil. So it means how skinny it is, and then later once it dries, I'm going to flip it and do the other side. Oh, maybe I'll do it like that. We'll see how it works out. Ooh, I like it. Okay, just to show you, went ahead and took the design all the way to the edge. I kind of liked it better that way. So as you can see, that's how it was before. So I played with the design and kind of filled in the little extra doodad. So I still have to do this side. So the only reason I need to cover is because I'm going to cover my staples and my seams here where I have to put duct tape. But I think what I could do is cover it with contact paper. I have a ton of this, and I tried the paint on it, and it covers really darn well with nothing, with no primer. So I think that's going to be the new plan. Okay, so door number one, I covered it as best I could with my contact paper. Now the idea is to spray paint it gold, and then I have another thing. I'm going to do another thing or two actually. So let's spray paint it. This door is painted. All the wrinkles come out. Oh my god. But again, I'm going to do something else on it that will help it, I hope. So this is the next one to paint, and the coverage was amazing with that. I didn't even use the full can yet, so I have 2 cans for it. Okay, now it's time to get back to my gold doors. Fortunately, some of the extra bubblage that I saw when after I sprayed it gold, actually it relaxed, so that's good. Again, it's not going to be perfect because we're talking about a piece of cardboard with a bunch of duct tape on it, but for the most part. Now comes the decorating part of it that I'm hoping will work. I have a backup plan. If it doesn't, we'll see how it looks, because I would love it to be operational doors, kind of sort of like the ones I did for my secret garden party. So again, but who knew that contact paper could take paint so well? I'm really impressed, although some of it is in my hands right now, but you know what I mean. That's way better than I expected. I'm really flabbergasted about that. Anyway, let me show you what the plan is. Show what the thought is. This is sort of the inspiration, right? And the white columns and that kind of gold door is kind of what I'm doing. I was gonna, like I said, I was gonna do something here, but I decided to let it go because I'm gonna have a pot and the palm trees here. But anyway, it just so happened that that design that you see there is the design for my stencil. And it just so happens that it fits the width of the door perfectly. This is one of the doors. So now I'm gonna see, ideally, I think I would love to stencil it with something close. So it's sort of more like a tone on tone. And then I have a few, I got a few special thumbtacks to maybe accent, but I don't think I have that many. So I may just be able to accent like in the middle, like it has it here. But that's kind of the thought. I am excited that this thing is exactly the same width though. But now I gotta see, okay, so it accepted, you know, spray paint. Now let's see if it accepts more paint, because I'm gonna see if I can, like I said, find a paint to stencil with. Okay, so in order to test to see if this will take stenciling well, I turned it upside down. I had a little extra of the contact paper and I spray painted in gold. I think it should be dry by now. And then I'm gonna test it in here. So I have a few colors that I found that I want to test to see how they come out. Okay, so I decided to mix all three of the golds, and you know, metallic, the glorious, and even the glitter. We'll see. Because I don't have enough of either one, so I figured maybe if I'm mixing them, I have a better chance of getting where I want to be. Let's see, this is the bottom of the door. Give you a close-up of kind of what it's looking like because of the way I'm doing it. I'm hoping that it looks almost textured. I hope. Okay, now that I've finished with the gold spray paint and all the stenciling, which I'll show you, it's time to figure out the handle. I had these for when I redid my cabinet. This were actually where the little knob was. This kind of like a escutcheon, I guess is what you call this. So I thought maybe I could bend them and put like a little knob in there. And that's kind of, I had a bunch of different knobs that I considered, and I ended up using this one that I found at Dollar Tree years ago. So let me show you. Oh, and I also did a lot of the nail head trim as much as I could from what I had existing. Let me show you how they turned out. And there they are. They all stenciled up. And there is a handle. These old crystal knobs, like I said, they're from Dollar Tree. And the gold on gold came out pretty good. Again, the texture of the door is not perfect because it's just cardboard. And if I wanted to spend hundreds of dollars, I could have done it in wood, but I didn't want to spend hundreds of dollars on something that is just temporary. And I had enough nail head trim to do, you know, over here, and to also do two bands. So I'm happy with that. Now tomorrow I'll install them, and hopefully I won't have to make too many adjustments, and they'll be okay. Here you go. Okay, now on to my, I think it's my last DIY. I want to make my magic carpet ride. We had a lot of these extra boards because the fence was fixtures. The fence, so you see the rod on the bottom. So this is the idea. Right now they're on top of a pallet, but I'm not gonna use the pallet. I'm gonna use cinder blocks to make it look as if it's suspended. And I got this cute little carpet and Ross. And see, I don't mind if it's like a little overhang. And then I got some fringe that I'm gonna attach to the edges. And then I'm gonna, of course, join all the boards together and then put it on cinder blocks, and hopefully it looks like you're flying on a magic carpet. That will go in front of my arch for the photo opportunity. So this is gonna be the table for my magic carpet. So this is upside down, right? That's where the cinder blocks are gonna be, and I'm gonna surround them by pieces of wood that not only do they join my three boards, but also keep it kind of in place. As you can see, kind of helps the things fall right into place. So I'm gonna screw them all in, and then we'll be ready to set it up. Oh, and then I have one more thing to do on the carpet, but it's coming. Okay, so here's the setup for the magic carpet. So 4 cinder blocks, right? And I went ahead and kind of screwed in all my guiding areas and also support. Now we can put it in. Like that is in the right place. Yep, it should lock into place because I put those boards on the side. Still a little wobbly. Okay, and then lastly, we gotta put the carpet on it. And I may or may not spray paint. So now, you got a magic carpet ride. Woohoo! And the last thing is I'm gonna put some French to kind of, I can camouflage further kind of the cinder block. And I'm thinking if I may color them black, that way they disappear more. Isn't that cute? and it's an easy step to make. You know, even though, you know, it's a moving carpet, so I think a little movement is okay. Just make sure people stay in the middle. Here you go. Magic carpet ride. Let me show you with the front. Okay, so now for the last part for the magic carpet ride, we gotta put some French on. Like I say, usually when you see a carpet ride, it usually has a lot of fringe. And I think it helps kind of camouflage, like I say, what's all the mechanics underneath. So it's, usually fringe is expensive, but I was able to find this one at Amazon and it wasn't too bad and it was the length that I needed. And again, I don't need anything super fancy. I just need something basic. I'm just gonna hot glue it here to the, I'm just gonna hot glue on the inside. So like that, and that should do it all around. Hopefully I have enough because I did measure I had enough, so hopefully. Okay, all the tassel is up. Isn't that cute all around? Now let's see what it looks like on top of the surface. Hey, check it out. It got really staticky, but isn't that funny? It looks like it's sort of flying, the fringe. I don't know why it's so staticky right now, but there it is.